Piggy, piggy. What you doing? This guy went running from me when I came over here. He's got a brother. You can see him there. Here he comes. This is Tom and Jerry. They are American guinea hogs, and they are about 4 months old. So they look quite large for 4 months old, but they are only 4 months old, and they will be ready for our freezer probably around 2 years old, 18 months to 2 years old. So they still have quite a ways to go. They need to get much, much larger. We feed them table scraps and some really good stuff. They're trained really well on this electric fence, and they are working for us in this part of the property to knock down a lot of this sort of mess back here. And so they love it. They've got some good shade because they've got trees, and so they're kind of like forestry kind of stuff. But they have their pool. We're going to clean all that out, and it's just kind of morning stuff, but they've been loving it. So this is kind of the back of our property, and again, we've got a lot of work to do back here to kind of heal this land and bring it back to what it needs to be. But we'll also have our pigs to help us with that, and they will be loved and cared for and fed really well while they're on our property. So all right, so let me show you a little bit around here. We've got a bunch of stuff in the back here that we will eventually take care of and get more usable. And this is where our greenhouse will be eventually. So there is some work that's already been done down here with regards to like having a pad. We're gonna drill some posts and stuff and put some posts up and have a greenhouse for when it gets cold and get that kind of operational, or at least that's our plan right now. Over here there's pasture land that we're just letting heal right now. It's just it was kind of overworked, and so we're gonna just let it kind of do its thing. We don't really have anything to put there right now, so just letting the land kind of regenerate some native species and stuff. There's a peach tree right here that needs pruned and loved and taken care of. There's another peach tree that we've already started to put our cardboard mulching and some homemade compost that we made. It was our first batch, and it wasn't the greatest, but that's what I heard to expect. Is don't expect your first batch of compost to be the greatest. It just takes a little time to learn that stuff. And so as we come up here on the property, there's some other things that we're experimenting with. We've planted some pomegranate and some blueberry, and those have not taken yet. And I don't know if they'll last, quite honestly. I think we were a little late doing that. Closing on this property so late in the season made it a little harder, but that's okay. We're gonna just figure that out. This is previous owner's kind of flower garden, and it's a bit overgrown, but we'll take care of it. We'll take some bulbs out. I know that my mom wants some of those bulbs, so we'll do that. And then kind of just walking up here is where I have some potted plants that we had brought with us. So our lemon tree has been with us for years, and this is something that we will have to put into the greenhouse because it can't handle the cold weather. So right now we've got some lemons that are forming. Not as many as I would have liked, but I've got some buds that I'm hoping will turn into lemons. So we'll see. We'll see how this does. We put some compost in there as well. We've got some carrots going in here. And then this was I believe this is it's all eaten by the bugs. So I've got to learn a little bit about the soil and what's going on there. But this, Brussels sprouts, I think. Started my garden kind of late, but that's okay. Got some cucumbers going on here. Some peppers, sweet potatoes, lettuce. Got some lima beans going. We've got some of these, they're called gypsy onions. There was another homesteader that we're very thankful for, who Ryan bought some lumber off of, and you know, he gave us some of his gypsy onions. And essentially what they do, if you don't know anything about gypsy onions, is they grow up, and as they form a new onion on top, they fall over and they replant themselves and continue to walk. And I think that's interesting. We'll see if they take. Don't look the greatest right now, but we'll see what happens there. Got some cleanup here to do, but over here we've got some watermelon. We'll see if we get some watermelons again. We started late, so not sure that we'll be able to enjoy all of the harvest, but we'll see. So we've got obviously a raised bed here that needs a lot of help. And then this is where our pigs were previously. They did a fantastic job in helping us clear this out. This was quite a mess. It was kind of like that. And they were in here and they kind of cleared that out for us. We have some beautiful soil that we're going to take and spread around and help our trees, help our garden, do all those types of things. But they did a fantastic job in here, which is why we needed to rotate them out so that it didn't go too long. But again, we'll continue to rotate them to be responsible, to do responsible regenerative farming. Here's our barn that needs some work. It's got some rotted posts. We need to get that all taken care of by winter so that our animals, as we get more, can be, you know, safe inside a barn that's not going to fall apart, and have warmth and safety for the winter. So got some work to do there, but we had tons of trees and lumber that we were able to sort of salvage from the property, and we'll be doing something there. So again, this is more pasture. It is mowed. It was mowed a few weeks ago. It's about, I don't know, maybe 18 acres or so. And so that's, you know, as we get more animals, as we start to rotate more, we will come out into this piece where our animals will help us to care for things. Over here is where we were doing our compost, and we need to do more of that. So you'll see that here, but really good for the land. All of this was really beaten down by cows and just kind of overworked, and that's okay. We're gonna take care of that. So in here we've got some of our chickens. It looks like some of them are in the coop right now, but they're out and they're foraging and they're picking, and we will rotate these guys pretty soon. What you see on the ground is some compost we put in there to help. They scratch it down and they pick through it, and they actually make it a lot richer. So we're going to go in there and kind of collect some of that up as well and put that around. Some more compost right there. They love kind of scratching through that. They love being animals and pecking and looking for bugs and doing all that kind of good stuff. So we'll rotate these guys probably in the next week or so, depending on how we do with our chicken tractor. So Ryan is in the shop right now dealing with the chicken tractor. We have, so these are our full size sort of miscellaneous chickens, if you will. And again, there's a whole bunch in the coop, so I won't bother them. There are some smaller, these are Rhode Island Reds that are just, at least this guy anyway, is, I think they're about 6-8 weeks, maybe 8 to 10 weeks old. So still a little bit ways to go, but these are dual purpose birds, so they can be, they can lay eggs or they can be our meat chickens. There is a hen back here that we are letting heal. She was a little bit overworked. We have too many roosters essentially, so we've got to handle that issue as well. Did you hear my little? There's one of them. He's kind of wondering what I'm doing over here. He said, "This is my area." So there's another one. So they're having a good time. So again, just a little introduction to our place. Small right now in terms of what we have, but we have big plans. Love for you to follow our journey. We are going to call our property Narrow Ways Farm. And so there is meaning behind that, and I'll share that more kind of as we go. But again, this is our place, and you can see our home in the background. And again, this is the other side of the barn. We've got some work to do, some roofing issues there. So there's never, oh, look at that, there's lots of work to be done in that barn. There's good bones inside. We just have to ensure that the roofing and the outside parts are all secured, and we've got a plan for that. So lots to do there. Follow us on that journey. And if you've got suggestions for us, I'm happy to hear them in the comments. We'll always be kind to each other. So we're learning, and we love to learn from others as well. We follow some great homesteaders that are doing some responsible farming. So if you're interested in who those are, who have way more experience than us, I would ask you to just ask me about that in the comments. I'm happy to link some of those. I'm just going to point out over here, we just planted a couple of weeks ago. Can't really see it, but there's about 30 pieces of comfrey. If you know anything about comfrey, it's a fantastic plant that has lots of protein. It's great for your animals. We have our very first one that's really popping up here. So this is comfrey, and it's just kind of the first sprout, if you will. So excited about that. I do think we have a few more that are very, very tiny sprouting up. But I planted 30 kind of along this fence line because it's a great plant to have in for a variety of reasons, and so you can't really have enough of it. So thanks for following along. Love to hear your thoughts. I'll be back to just give you updates on things, and thanks again.